Hi Pooja, welcome to My Conversations, and we're so glad to have you here. As you already know, we are going to be talking about caged freedom. Just understanding that from within, what is it that keeps us caged? What is freedom truly? How does the environment, how does the world around us impact that for us, and how do we also perceive it? How do we manage it at our end? So, just welcoming you to make yourself comfortable. Conversations, part one. Uh, so, Pooja, if you'd like to just introduce yourself and we'll get into the questions.
Sure. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. I think I'll just introduce myself first. Hi everyone, my name is Pooja Inamke. I'm an industrial psychologist. I have been working in the field for around 4.5 years plus. I'm also a counselor, a therapist, and as well as a trainer. So I'm a certified facility trainer as well, due to which I work with companies, organizations, and corporates for training programs, workshops on n number of topics ranging from resilience, soft communication, soft skills, and so on. And today, the topic that we are, I think, discussing is about self imposed cage and what exactly we can do to not be caged, right?
Great, Pooja. So, like you said, you've worked with multiple groups of people, and you see this, especially in the workplace or even otherwise, that we're every day we're moving towards a faster world. Our
Yeah.
pace has increased, pace of work, pace of just living life. So be it ourselves, people around us in the real world or in the real world, we know for a fact that everybody is constantly doing something. Uh, that hustle culture, the entire hustle culture, and just constantly, okay, doing this for my health, doing this for my career, not just beyond work, also, everybody's constantly doing something. And one of the biggest things that gets caged between this is the time that we take for ourselves to take some rest. And we feel guilty about it. So how do you feel we should address the guilt or not feel guilty per se while taking
Mhm.
rest?
Okay. So the first thing that happens when we say that, I want to rest is that there is this counter thought that always comes like, I should not. I should be working on something. I should be doing something.
Mm.
Like, even let's say if you are working Monday to Friday and you have a weekend off, it's always like, I need to do something. Okay. As if that rest is something that you have to earn. That is something that you have to, do something in order to deserve it. So
Absolutely.
that guilt comes from that key, okay, I need to earn this rest, or I need to do something actually good. And that good is very much a vague and ambiguous definition for each and every one. So, as long as you don't feel content with what you're doing, you'll always find yourself not being able to rest properly, because you're always thinking that I have not done enough to rest. I should be doing this, I should be doing XYZ thing, I should be like, this is something that, we often think that productivity का जो reward है, that is going to be rest.
Yeah,
Okay. And what is productivity? It keeps on changing. It keeps on changing with the culture. It keeps on changing with social media, social comparison. It just keeps on changing. And thus it makes us very difficult for any person to, rest for a while, or just like sit idly and not do anything. Like, if I ask you, like, when was the last time you or I have just like sat and not touched a phone or not did anything, it becomes a tad bit difficult.
absolutely.
One of the reason is because we think, no, we have to constantly be doing something. We need to constantly be working towards something.
Yeah.
And the problem is not that, you are not supposed to be doing that. or you should not be hustling, or you should not be working on something that you're passionate about. You should definitely do it. But that something needs to be defined by you. That something, or what it is exactly that you want to do, should be yours and needs to be defined by you, so that you get an idea, okay, I have to do something like this, and that's why I'm working towards it. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense, and that opens up the conversation to multiple other aspects that we need to talk about today. Uh,
Mhm,
like you said, that the guilt comes up. We see it as, oh, hey, like a reward, that if I complete this is when I can rest. Um, how do we differentiate per se between moral guilt, which is I'm doing something wrong, uh, and socially conditioned guilt,
mhm,
which is society sort of implicates on us that, oh, if you're doing this, it's wrong. And
mhm.
what about the moral guilt? How would we differentiate between that?
Okay. So when I'm assuming that when you say moral guilt, it is like the guilt of laziness or not being like, up to the mark of your own potential, right?
Absolutely.
That's the moral
More
guilt, right?
self-inflicted.
Yeah. So I think what happens is there is a mix of both. Like we, as we grow up in a society, we get conditioned, like, you have to be successful, you have to be available, you have to be busy. Busy equals to being productive, productive equals to being more targets equal to more promotions, and so on and so forth. So it is like a condition that is there. You have to be successful, you have to be available, you don't have to slow down. If you slow down, you will fall behind some race that is there, that has been there. So partially, yes, it is that external pressure that comes, that you have to prove something.
Correct.
But over the period of time, as we grow up, once we pass out from college, once we start the job hunt and we get into the job market, it starts to, we don't even realize, and we kind of internalize it so much that from like I have to do it, it becomes like I must.
Hmm.
I must do it, I must be successful, I must keep on performing, otherwise my promotion will go, my salary, my payment is not as much as that XYZ person, I'm not having that lifestyle as XYZ person. So that internalization often comes from it, and once that starts to come, it becomes very difficult. The line becomes very blur, actually. Like, where is that moral guilt and where is that societal guilt? You're not able to differentiate between both of them.
Correct.
And then you unknowingly you've come and enter this race that was never yours to run.
Hmm.
Right? And once you are in that race, it becomes very difficult or very hard to resist not running in it.
Yeah.
So here you have to pause and ask yourself, like, which race am I running? And is the destination that I'm running towards mine, or has it been given to me by somebody?
Hmm.
So for instance, if, okay, for others, the definition of being successful is having your own car, house,
Hmm.
good amount of bank balance,
Yeah.
and good, like, look, amazing lifestyle that looks good on social media and the other things. It is successful, right? That is successful.
Hmm.
And if you are not doing that, then that is the guilt that you get, is like a societal guilt.
Hmm.
But for instance, you are a person who is more like, you want to engage in experiences, you like to travel, for instance, or you want money, of course, who doesn't? But when you want money, it is for a lifestyle that you have chosen and you are comfortable with it. But
Absolutely.
now, if you are chasing that other part,
Hmm.
then it is a societal guilt.
Understood.
But knowing this, that I want something else, and I'm still chasing this other part, then that moral guilt and societal guilt differentiates over here. Moral guilt comes from an individual experiences, like whether you are performing up to the mark, are you putting in all that you have for your own potential. That is where the moral guilt comes. And the
Absolutely.
societal guilt comes from, like, a picture that has been put and conditioned into us while growing up.
Absolutely. So the mismatch between society's expectations and our doing becomes societal guilt, and the mismatch
Yeah,
between my own set goals and my action
yeah,
towards them becomes more moral guilt.
yeah, right.
Absolutely. I think that's very true also. Like, initially you also spoke a little bit about that a lot of times they get mixed up. Uh, and that it can happen so that perhaps it has been so long that I've been in the guilt that perhaps the
Mhm.
society or the societal expectations have driven me to be that I might start thinking that, oh, no, no, this is my own, and not something that has been inflicted upon me, right? And you know when these things happen, like, of course, there is no way that you can stop the impact of society on yourself, right? We're social beings, we
Of
are part of
course.
the ecosystem. Although, coming back to the entire hustle culture and everything, with everybody doing
Mm-hmm.
so much, how do people really understand? Because, see, when we talk about the caged self, when we talk about freedom, it also
Mm-hmm.
comes in choices that we make every single day.
Yeah.
Choices that we see and follow every single day for a rather long term. Perhaps
Yeah.
what am I passionate about, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would I determine choices like this when I know for a fact that everybody around me is doing 10 different things? Uh, a very simple
Mm-hmm.
example, these days a lot of people are becoming content creators, right? A
Right.
lot of people are getting into similar streams of work and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, how would I, as a person, choose and make a conscious choice that what is my passion? How would I understand that what is it that I truly want or I truly am good at, rather than
Mm-hmm.
just, feeling I'm free but actually being caged?
That's actually a very, good question that you have asked, because nowadays, we often get influenced a lot.
Absolutely.
Like, there are people who are managing their jobs and pursuing content creation. Then there are people who are managing two jobs and also, like as you said, content creation or some other passion that they have, and they have started to, like, also turn it into, like, more of a monetization. Also, it has turned monetized also. So it becomes even more, like, enticing for a person that, oh, these people are, like, doing a corporate job as well as they are working in this industry, and they are earning from them. There are multiple streams of income that is coming. So
Absolutely.
the idea here is based in this, that I need multiple streams of income.
Correct.
Okay, I need to earn more. Okay,
Absolutely.
and in that chase, you want to find something that you are passionate about. Now
Absolutely.
these two things, if you for it, they are different sometimes. For example, your job
Yeah.
can be a main thing that provides for you, that supports you monetarily, economically,
Yeah.
whereas another thing is something that you're passionate about.
Hmm.
Why is it necessary to monetize something that you're passionate about?
Absolutely.
Okay, I understand that the economy that we are in, the lifestyle that we want, is something that requires money. Fair
Absolutely.
enough. That's also something that is understandable. But are we okay with turning that passion, that's something that, really amuses us, really excites us, into another core, routine, mundane task? Because eventually, if you try to do it, it is going to turn into that.
Yeah.
Now, here, the main question that you need to ask yourself is, or even for your own desire, whatever the passion is this thought, like, what I want to do, is it coming from, like, excitement and, that zest to do something? Or is it coming from, okay, XYZ, this person is doing, that's why I want to do it? or this is not enough, what I am doing is not enough, and that's why I want to do it. Like, is it coming from excitement, calmness, or is it coming from that pressure or urgency or that anxiety? What is it coming from? Because if it's the first part, then you can keep on doing it, and even if it does not, let's say, generate any kind of income for you, you'll still be happy doing it, because after all, why it makes you passionate about it,
True.
right? And then if it's coming from, like, anxiety, like, I'm feeling behind, or I am not doing enough, my income is not enough, then it will definitely lead you to stress and burnout,
Hmm.
because the latter is more about burdening yourself, and the former is more about expanding yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think
So
that's
you need to ask yourself this one question: where is this coming from?
where is this coming from? Absolutely. I think, like you said, that, burdening and expanding, that's also where freedom lies. That what does being free mean to you? What does it mean to you? Um, and for most, I'm sure it wouldn't be burdening ourselves with more. That's not what
Yeah.
freedom would look like at all, right? Uh, now that we've spoken about a couple of aspects of this, how can we live a life
Mhm.
without rather the constant fear of every small change, every little uh, derailment having a greater impact on everything that we're doing? Because I do see this, uh, and this is
Mhm.
not generation specific or not today specific, but this has been there for quite a time, where we allow little actions, small actions, to put ourselves back in the cage. And
Mhm.
oftentimes we choose to do it. It's a self-imposed cage that we talk about, right? Uh, well, okay, hey, this happened. No, let me just lock myself up again. I
Mhm.
tried this once, didn't work out. I cannot do it ever again. Uh,
Mhm.
lot of little things um, sort of just pave the way for us to put ourselves back into a cage,
Mhm.
which we don't want. But
Mhm.
somehow we have so many cages around us, most of them
Mhm.
created by ourselves. So how can we live a life without this constant fear or constant pressure to cage ourselves because there was some derailment or things didn't work out the way we wished they would?
Mhm. Okay. Okay, so let's first talk about, we are talking and discussing about this cage, so I would like to first point that out. Like, what happens is this cage, that is, even if it's a society driven cage or a comparison driven cage or even self-induced cage or responsibility driven cage, any of these cages or the boxes that we
Yeah.
box ourselves into, let's first understand why that happens. Is
Mm.
okay, let me just tell you with a very simple example. Okay, no matter what and where you go, like, if you travel, if you are outside for work or for travel for even month 2 months, once you come home, you feel that, familiarity, you feel comfort, you feel amazing in that, a sense of belongingness in that walls of your own home, no matter what kind of a house you have
Absolutely.
rented yourself. But it feels amazing to be back, and it feels like, oh, I'm back to something that is mine, something that is familiar, and something that I know of. So
Absolutely.
these boxes, these cages that are getting imposed or getting created are somewhat similar. They in like, exude some kind of comfort or some kind of familiarity for the person. So once you are in that, you feel okay. I don't have to perform. I don't have to do anything else, and that it is okay for me. This is completely okay for me.
Yeah.
But what happens is, you cannot forever stay inside the walls, like, right? You
Mm.
cannot forever stay inside the home. Now, why you can't stay forever inside the home? Because Perhaps the things that you want are outside, the things that you're seeking are outside that
Mm.
four walls, and they're unfamiliar, they are scary, they are uncertain. We don't know what will happen. Like, for example, a person who is in a job for 2 3 years want to take a switch, want to take a leap of faith, and just want to switch, and they are applying and they go for interviews, they get rejected, and that's it. Okay, now it's done, I am back here because now this is something I know of, this is something that I'm very familiar with. So it becomes very easy option to keep yourself in that walls.
Mm.
It becomes easier, it becomes comforting to be there. And who
Absolutely.
does not want easy? Who does not want comfort?
True.
But oftentimes we forget that what we actually want or what is going to help us grow in
Yeah.
any way or even be happy for that matter is going to definitely be outside that four walls.
Mm.
So that first step to step out of that cage in itself is difficult.
Yeah.
And another reason it is difficult is because once you are in that four walls or once you're caged, you found yourself to be like limiting.
Mm.
Like, this is only the playground that you have to play. And
Absolutely.
if you go out and you see, oh my God, there's a bigger playground, there's a bigger world out there, and
Yeah.
I have to now play there, it's scary.
Mm.
It's
Absolutely.
going to be very scary. So to step out. So that's why it becomes very convenient for us to step back in.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, sense of familiarity. And that comfort is there. This is how it has always been. This is how I can manage. Uh,
Yeah.
that sense of freedom also sometimes, because it's unfamiliar, it scares us.
Hmm.
Oh, how would I do it? How would I manage?
Yeah.
I am
Right.
not aware about this. I'm good at home. I'm good. I'm settled with what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very true. Um, Pooja, what do you feel? I mean, you've interacted with so many professionals. Uh, you've seen how the world outside, a little part of how the world outside is truly,
Hmm.
and on a day-to-day basis, or even from a bird's eye point of view. I'm sure you've seen when you're training them or when you're addressing bigger groups. What do you feel is the biggest and the most toughest cage that has been self-imposed or just around us that we have caged ourselves into? That's the most difficult, but yet the most impactful, the most harming to us.
Okay. So it is like, in psychology, we call this something as limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
And that's what I have seen, like a pattern everywhere. And the most difficult or the most common one is that I don't think I can do it. I don't think I have it in me to do it.
Yeah.
So that belief we kind of, imbibe in ourselves because we are in that particular box for such a long period of time. We become so used to it that we cannot even think, ki, okay, I can go out and I can do something else also.
Absolutely.
It just reminds me of something like recently, if you've seen this penguins, like it's a
Yeah.
trending topic, like one penguin is going towards the mountains and is not going with the group, right?
Absolutely.
So, and I feel why has it picked up so much or why has it gained that momentum or relevance is because people are now thinking in this way, oh, like, somebody is not choosing to go with the clan. Somebody is choosing not to, like, believe that, okay, they might do it or they might not do it, but they are yet choosing it not to be a part of a clan. And that is something that is like, very, very common. Like, okay, I have to do it. I have no other option. I have responsibilities. I have EMIs. I have mortgage. Yes, we all know that. everyone has certain kinds of responsibilities and everyone comes with their own sets of baggage, but it's about the mindset that you have about certain things. So that's why that one thing then became a very thing for a lot of people who are like, waiting to have that sign. Okay, maybe you need to go out and do something, maybe it will work, maybe it will not work,
Yeah,
but you need to try it out. And
absolutely.
that is not that belief is not there, like, okay, I might have to try it out, I might have to do something, because there's this always that I can't, I have this, I have that XYZ. So that we call it as a limiting belief. It's like you yourself are putting that limits on you, that okay, I cannot do XYZ thing, I cannot do. Why? Who says that? Did anybody tell you, or did you try doing it and you didn't, were not able to do it? 80% of the time it's you haven't even tried it.
Yeah. I think that's so powerful, Pooja, what you just said. The biggest cage that we need to absolutely come out of is limiting beliefs. Um, I mean, that's very true. And we need to really, really make ourselves comfortable with believing things about ourselves that are bigger than what our limits have shown us in the past, you know. But with that, I really, really appreciate the conversation, Pooja. And is there anything else that you'd like to add to the conversation?
Just one last thing that I just want to add, like, because we started the conversation with hustle culture and people finding themselves working a lot and not having time for it, because yes, there are other real reality issues are there, like you
Yeah,
need money to survive, you need a lifestyle to maintain, you need some things and everything, and I get that, I totally understand that, but at the end of the day we also need to understand this, that when you don't have to find what you truly want by getting more and more things, like chasing more and more things, you can find what you truly want by just reducing the volume of outside noises and just listening to yourself for once. And then maybe you will find something that will not feel like you are running a rat race, or that will not feel like you are in some kind of a cage which is there. So if you just learn to even reduce noises of your own self, it will help you, like, just to break that cage and come out and just step out and see what it's there. If it's good for you, it's good for you. If it's not, then you can come back to your familiarities as well.
with that, Pooja, thank you so much for the conversation. It has been
Thank
extremely
you.
insightful, and delightful because these are things that we can relate to on an everyday basis. We might not realize, and because we can't see these cages, we often think that there's nothing, but there is so much, so much. Uh, that, like you said, it's okay to just try and step out. We don't have to push ourselves outside suddenly into a new territory. It's always a good option to try rather than just be where you are, um, because that will not allow for any kind of growth. That will not allow for any kind of freedom in its true sense. So thank you so much, Pooja, and thank you so much for watching as well.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you so much for having me as well.
uh,
It was nice talking with you. Your questions were really reflective.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pooja.